Hey, hey, hello to one and all. Just getting stuff set up as usual. Hey, Bob, how are you? 2 a.m. What are you doing up so early? It's only 8 p.m. where I am. I don't know. I slept here. Oh, that's good. Just bringing up my reference for my character. Oh, come on. How has school been going? Oh, that's good. Not having bad marks. It's good that you don't have bad marks. It is. If you don't mind me asking, what subjects do you take in school? Don't have to answer if you don't want. I'm just trying to create conversation and see how schools might be different over there than here, especially in high school type setting, or what we would consider high school over here. High school would basically be grade 8, no, grade 9 through 12. I'm not sure whether you guys do it by grades over there or what. So, I don't know, just trying to learn your culture a bit more through you. Biology, anatomy, physics, chemistry. Wow. Italian and Roman history. That that seems like a very big course load. And more. Wow. So is what you do, what grade would you be considered in? Would you be considered grade 11? Would you be considered grade 11? Do you do by grades over there or? Grade 10, okay. So I guess you do by grades over there. Oh yeah, I did that. I did my math wrong. Sorry. Should have been guessing 10. You're not 16. I've developed a little bit of a small equation for over here. Most people, unless because starts in September over here, and if you're born before January, like in up until December, you can start in September. If you're 5 for grade 1, less than that for like kindergarten. So basically, it's if you add 5 onto somebody's age, or is it 6 for grade 1? Yeah, it must be 6 because if you add 5 onto the age, no, if you subtract 5 from the age, you can get their grade over here. So I did the wrong math for your age with you being 15. I should have been guessing 10. 3 parts, 5 years. Then 3, and then it depends. Okay. Okay. 3 parts. 5 years for each part. I take it as what you mean. And then it depends. No. Okay. I guess I'm getting things wrong. Confuddle. Okay, so each of your years has three parts? Okay, then that sort of gets me here. We for here in Canada and the States, it's similar for the most part. 1 to 5 for elementary, 6, 7, and 8 for middle school, as we call it here, and not then it used to be, or then it's 9, 10, 11, and 12, and what used to be 13 is now called OAC. Actually, I think they've slowly gotten rid of that here, but that's high school. Well, the 10, 9. So I guess it's sort of the same, but we call each. Yes, high school. Sounds like a similar system, but not quite the same. But it sounds like for grade 10, you're studying a lot more than what most of our students would here. This is my character, Absorb. He is a villain. I'm trying to get him the arm right. Uh, his real name is Lauren Winters. No, sorry, Larson Winters. I got the profile right next to me, so. Oh, that's good that you find taking biology, anatomy. Well, those would be almost similar, I would think. Physics and chemistry would be slightly different. Italian, that's the language you're learning better, and just history.
some chips?
No, thanks, Dave.
They're I had a friend make these. They're called cracker chips.
Yeah, made
Yeah.
by me.
Yeah. Are you on?
Crush. No, I'm all right, Dave.
Are you on the?
Yeah. Don't worry about it, Dave. I'm just drawing at the moment. Nothing spectacular. Greek. Wow. I can't get this arm right. Yeah, I guess so. And each of our, also for our school system here in Canada, and I think it's the same for the States, we have 2 semesters, and each semester is divided into 2 terms. And after a semester, in each semester, you take 4 classes and you get a test at the end of the semester. You get a midterm test, like at the end of the first term. And then you get a test at the end of things. So the test at the end of the semester. Our one semester usually runs from first semester usually runs from September to January, although January is like only half a month, and half a month you're doing exams. And then the next one runs from September to, not September, February to June, and then off for July and August. And you have to take, in that 4 years, you have to take like five, well, last time I knew, anyways. Oh, wow. Well, there can be smaller tests, before you do the major test or whatever. Quizzes or whatever. The midterm and all that. At least last time I knew, anyways. I haven't been in school for a while, but, from what I get, it's still pretty much the same. But that means, every 5 months approximately, you're changing up courses. So you got to learn a lot or a fair amount in that 5 months. About that one subject for that year, and then the next year is if you want to, you can take a upgraded version of that to learn more. But yeah, we need 5 English credits over 4 years, or last I remember. I think 3 math, no, 2 math, 2 science, 1 geography or history. Wow. Yeah, we can. Our classes usually have some pretty big class, or at least they did had some pretty big classes, like over 20 people for sure. And that's usually what all of ours are here. Last time I was in school, anyways. So it could be a little different. And you just said you changed schools too, so yeah, I haven't been on them to check it out. Yeah, I know he was supposed to be doing a giveaway of some cards. Well, once I hit 100 subs, I'm doing a giveaway too. You can request, whatever commission you want, whatever character, and I'll mail it to you once it's done. And I'm gonna do it on live stream, so you'll know when it's done. They'll just be having the money to mail it to you or to whomever who wins. We'll have a little contest shortly after I hit 100 subs on the channel, and then whoever wins gets the gets to pick the character. And I'm gonna have something at 250, something at 500, and then 1,000. Well, 1,000, I'm going to go through my whole comic book collection. It's all in bins right now. I had it in boxes, but I put it into bins. And I'm going to sort it, and everybody's going to get to see my comic book collection. And I have like between 2,000 and 3,000 comic books, physical comic books. Yeah, I have big plans. And I'm in the middle of doing my sketch cards, although I haven't done a lot of them. I've only done the one on air. I'm planning on, when I get those done, I'm thinking those for 500. I should have them all done. A set of 25, having them printed up. And again, we'll do a contest. Why so many comics? Because that's what I've collected over the years. I started collecting when I was like in my teens, probably around your age, maybe a little sooner. And what's the value of my collection? I wouldn't have a clue. Because some of them are in better condition than others, and some of them would be worth more than others. And as I was saying, at 250, I'll do that sort of contest that we're going to do at 100 on the live stream again. And whoever wins will get a set of trading cards mailed to them when I get them printed up. No, I do not have the first Spider-Man. I wish. That was out like 10 years before I was born. And probably a good 30 years before I really got into collecting comic books. And the value of that, probably even then, would have been crazy. He first appeared in Amazing Fantasy number 15, if I remember correctly. And that comic book would probably be worth a pretty penny. Or whatever your lowest denomination of change is over there. A dinar? Or not a dinar? Would you sell your treasure? If I probably had to, I would. I wouldn't, but I'd have to be really down and out to sell it. people. Okay, maybe it's just me, but here in the Marvel, I think you mean there. Yeah, comics. We have anime, Magna here, which is the Japanese stuff. It's somewhat popular. We have, or although it's a dying business because of stuff going on in the comic industry, as you probably heard on some other channels. I'm not sure what other channels you watch for about comics, but we have actual comic book stores where you can go in that sell. Well, they used to sell primarily just comic books, but they're getting into some other stuff now because of, well, a lot of them have been into other stuff for years, but for a variety of reasons. To make money, basically. So probably comic book, especially DC, Marvel type stuff. I think they got popular over here first. Like Superman. He was first published over here in, well, the States, anyways. So, and we would have had it here in Canada fairly shortly after, I would assume, because we're right next door to them, so it would have been easy for our people to go down there, see them, and buy them. So they probably got popular here fast because of being right next door. But I believe there is mafia here in Canada. And in fact, I've heard that there is through various means or various sources. But as far as I know, it's not that bad. Probably bad where you are because that's where a lot of mafia originated, from what I know. And I think they've changed from what they used to be, from what I've heard, but I could be wrong. Or what they were supposed to be, way back when. Yeah, I think they do for some people. The protection racket, as I think it's called. I think that's what you're talking about. They take your money for not burning your house. Yeah. Like I said, I think it's worse in the States, from what I know. That stuff. You don't hear about it as often here in Canada. They're not quite as bad, but why they're not quite as bad, or you don't hear about them, I don't know. But or as far as I know, they're not. It's not like you hear something on the news every day about them. And they might have been worse, back years ago, but I think our police system has done something about it. The organized crime. We've tried to do something here in Canada and the States about it. And I don't I think it's worked here in Canada, obviously. Not from what I know. They've never showed him doing that. Although you would think he could create an infinity stone, but he's probably never thought of it. One would think he could, just to have a backup one. Because he thinks he's invincible with the gauntlet. He doesn't think about somebody stealing it back, would be my best guess. Yeah, it is dangerous to keep it around, but maybe he can't. Maybe for some reason there's something built in that doesn't allow him to do that to the stones, because why weren't they originally destroyed then? Somebody could have got them in. They were scattered about the cosmos for the very reason of somebody like Thanos. Yeah, theoretically. But Thanos wouldn't want to deal with somebody like himself. And he knows it because, in the end, Thanos knows he's a douchebag. Either that or he just doesn't think about this stuff. Or ultimately, it's the writers that don't think about this stuff. For some of it, anyways. And it's just so the. Plus, in another few hundred years, he's going to need to do the same thing. Yeah, he could do that. True. Well, he had an agenda on his mind. His agenda was just to take out half the universe's population because he thought, ooh, we're overpopulating. Well, I'll be back in a sec, Bob. 1 second. Trying to get cigarettes. Something one of them doesn't have at the moment. Yeah. I'm out. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm back, Bob. Okay. Could he stop the first time? Theoretically, yeah, someone he could stop the first time, then doing his agenda. Much more safe. Then he could revive his daughter or a copy of her. Yeah. Well, he could revive a copy of her right now. You know, but he hasn't thought to do that. You know, he's got all this power. Well, see, the thing is, he's not a god. He just has the power of a god. Slight difference. It's not the same thing. I would, well, personally, just because you have the power of a god or god does not make you God. Because look at Superman. He has the power of God or a god, whatever, however you want to say it, but he's not a god. People may worship him sometimes as a god, but again, he's not a god. Superman is relatively weak. Um, when you get him around kryptonite, um, he is very. I'm not sure what you're comparing him to call him relatively weak. To the real God, yeah. but probably, Superman could have taken out Thanos all by himself. Oh, yeah, he can't create matter, true. In that way, he's not a god. But in the sense that, all he can, as much as he can do, I'm not sure how to put it. Yeah, Superman's speed is phenomenal. I'm not sure whether you've ever watched here on YouTube. There's something called Screen Rant, and there's also different other things that they go. But Screen Rant, there's another guy too that did the Justice League versus like Thanos, and just they go over the powers and stuff like that of the people. And but Screen Rant, yes, no, no, not Screen Rant. Yeah, speed means nothing to a degree, but it's not only that he's got the speed, he's got um the strength. He's got a lot of stuff in his favor. Superman, um, before Thanos could have even thought, in the blink of his thinking, Superman could have been over there and whipped off the glove. Superman could have cut his arm off via X-ray vision. Not X-ray vision. Heat vision. They screw attack. Screw attack, I think it's called. Yeah. Yeah, he could create a universe, uh, but it takes time to think it and for it to actually pop into action. If you go by what we saw in the movie, it's obviously not inst- instantaneous. And look at Thor, just with a hammer, he got the guy. Now, well, actually, it's more than just a hammer. I shouldn't say just a hammer. Hey, Chad. Yeah, Thanos is really dumb. No matter how you slice it, Thanos is dumb. Yeah, that's no problem, Chad. I don't mind. Yeah, well, Thanos is way overconfident. It's just that he thinks he can't be beaten. So I don't. I like a one thing's for sure, Chad. I don't know a lot about the Infinity Gauntlet and what it does per se. I've never read the storyline in the comics, so I am really speaking out of turn a lot for it. I'm just going by the few videos I've seen. Yeah, well, unfortunately, Thanos does not know about Superman. They're two different universes. So I'm just in me saying it, I just say it because of the crossover stuff that has been done about or talked about. Thank you, Chad. It's my character, Absorb. I've done him before, but not like this. He looks he looked good in my last one, but this, frankly, is even more awesome. No, Absorb is not stronger than Superman. Um, Absorb has no hand-to-hand combat training and has no other useful skills. However, he is a man with great power. He can absorb many forms of energy, such as electrical, nuclear, solar. This has made him 50 times stronger than the average man and allow him to shoot beams of light from his eyes, which can incinerate the toughest of metals, spit nuclear fireballs from his mouth, and through shooting beams of purple light from his feet, he can fly. You're probably thinking similar to Rogue. Yeah, well, Bob, this is a character I created a long time ago. I've worked on his profile. This is what happens when I actually work on a profile. Especially get into some depth. Most of the characters we've talked about, I haven't done a lot of what I did for this character. I've created a name, basically, or something to that effect. You know, I even have where and how he got his powers here. No. Oh, you're thinking Bishop. Yeah, but he can't direct it back like Bishop, not in the exact same way. I have a character. Hey, Brad, how are you tonight? Sorry about earlier. It's not really what I want my channel to be about. I looked into some of them, it's claimed. Some of it might be true, but I'd have to do a deeper dive. Hello, Brad. Okay, give me a second here. Oh, just for what it turned into. I know it's not really my fault, but I am also the head of the channel. I probably could have done more, so it didn't turn out quite as bad or whatever. Not that it turned out bad. I don't know how to say it. Overall, Action is a good guy. I just don't agree with him on a lot of some points, but I don't have to agree with everybody. Oh, just I don't want to go into it too much. If you want to watch the broadcast from this morning, you can. I don't want to badmouth anybody too much and or talk about it or whatever. I'm not sure how you want to say it. Badmouthing is the wrong word. There's just a bit of disagreement over some stuff. Didn't turn into anything real bad, but it sort of took over stuff this morning or this afternoon, my time, that is. I'm not sure whether he was saying that. I'm not or if he was. I don't think that's what he meant to be saying. But it's definitely how it could come across to some people. And obviously that's how it came across to you. I wouldn't say that's how it came across to me, but I know he didn't. I didn't see those words exactly that saying no women didn't have a place in comics, but like I said, I don't want to get into it too much. Actually, I don't really want to get into it at all. I just figured I'd apologize for my part of letting it go on as long as it did. Although I want everybody to be able to speak their mind. I'd have to relook at the broadcast then. And it's not that I don't want to take your word for it. It's just I like to be safe like that. So I'm only choosing one color to accentuate in all my things. In this case, I did the purple. The beams of light through his eyes are not necessarily purple. So snicker bar. Back with Captain Marvel, the original, but I only do one color to accentuate to bring the bring the piece out a little bit. Yeah, I use yellow, and with that, I decided with each drawing, I would take one color for it and use it in it to highlight. Like, okay, I know I didn't do it. Let's see. So, yeah, you saw that piece. That was before I started. Well, that was I didn't do that live, but as you can see, I did it there, and I did it on Spock, and then I did it on Salamandroid Saturday night, and I did it on Bigfoot Bill, and of course, I did it here on Absorb. Thanks. Hopefully, I'm working right now on getting the Predator drawing down to a time lapse, but that's like a 4 hour video in total between the two. Going through it, I'm trying to weed out all the talking, the times I'm not drawing. So I'll be doing so when I hopefully in this sometime this week or early next week. I'll be on Celebrate. I gotta do a lot fast to catch up. But yeah, I thought taking out one color to accentuate the piece, just to be a draw in, would be good. Um, just in just in case. Oh, Bob, I was asking you the other day, but I don't think you heard me. For Parasite, I what I downloaded said Parasite Maximum. Is that the one you're talking about for sure, or have I downloaded the wrong one? Okay. Um. Is his is it his hand that gets taken over? And is he going to like school? Okay, then I think I got the right one. Okay. Oh yeah, definitely. Trying to put 24 episodes into one 2-hour movie, never a good idea. Yeah, there's that too. People like to put their own spin on something and then make it worse. Not too bad. But yeah, you need a collaboration with the. So, I will read the backstory. You may or may not like it. Lawson Winters was born in Georgetown, Ontario. His family upbringing was short and sweet. At the age of 10 years old, he was abandoned by his parents in the city park. He was taken in by street people who taught him how to lie, cheat, and steal while living anywhere he could, traveling constantly, never stopping to clean up his life, a deep sense of longing to love someone and to be loved by someone. Ugh, my grammar's atrocious, sorry. um, a deep longing to love someone and to be loved by someone brought him to the brink of disaster many times. When he was 22, he was offered a janitorial job for saving a man's life. Life was precious to Larson. After all, all life. The janitorial job was in a factory right next to a nuclear power plant. After 6 months, it looked as though his life had taken a turn for the better when disaster struck again. When the plant next door began to leak nuclear fumes right into his path of cleaning. Then strange things started to happen to him. At first, he got very sick and then totally better all of a sudden. When he thought things couldn't get any weirder, As he would pass by electrical appliances, he would short them out, and they would be, and then would be energized, and then he would be energized. Things went on like that, went on as normal for him as could be. The more these little events happened, he came to the conclusion that it was he who was draining the power out of the appliances. One day, when arguing with a guard, Larson got so frustrated he looked over to the guard with a look that could kill, and beams of light came out of his eyes, frying the guard on the spot. At that point, people started to run in fear and scream for help. The Canadian Shield, not being far away from the scene, heard the screams for help and then followed them to their source. Once on the scene, he identified the attacker and leaped into action. Though through rigorous battle, Larson learned more about his powers. In the end, Larson escaped. Now unable to go back to life, he decided that there was only one way to survive, and that was to revert back to his old ways. All things aside, Larson would give anything to have a normal life, for in the end, he is just a misunderstood man who just wants to be loved and to love someone. Sort of, yeah. Um, do people know his face? Well, when he was at the plant where he was and fried the security guard, he didn't have on this costume. His costume is something he develops after that incident. So when you first see him, he's not going to be in this outfit. So will people equate the two together? Maybe, maybe not. I haven't. That'll pan out in the comic books at some point. And who's stronger, him or the Shield? Which is what I think you mean by who's stronger. That is a good question. As we know, he is 50 times stronger. I can't remember offhand what I've put as the Shield's strength limit. If I have put a strength limit on, we know from the first comic book that the Shield is in, he can pull out a huge tree, like probably 50, 60 feet, maybe a higher tree by its roots, and throw it into space like it was a twig. So the Shield does have immense strength. I'm not sure who's going to be the stronger. I do have the script written for where the two battle already, so oh, is he a living battery? Uh, um, he's not a scientist. Like I said, he was when he was 10. He was abandoned by his parents in a park, and he was raised by bums, basically. And he got a janitorial job because he saved some man's life. So he has some smarts about him. Would he be smarter than the Shield? Probably. I'm not sure whether he'd be smarter per se, but the Canadian Shield is from like 200 years ago, 175 years ago, from the early 1800s. So, and a Native American from that day, so he wouldn't be brushed up on much from that day. And obviously, having only been in the present day for a couple months at best before facing off against him, he wouldn't know much about modern times. Or street people, bums. I'm not sure how you want to say it. So he would have a street smarts about him for sure. No, he would not know the Canadian Shield secret. Well, not at this point. Like I said, he fried the guy. People were running in terror. The Shield responded, and they met up in battle. You know, he doesn't want to be taken in because he doesn't want to go to jail. The Shield wants to do the right thing and take him in. Does he believe in God? Maybe in the sense that he believes that there is a God in a personal relationship. No, for sure. I haven't delved that much too much into his belief system. Any weapons? Except for the fact that he can shoot lasers from his eyes that incinerate, and shoot nuclear fireball through it from his mouth underneath his mask, which will go through his mask without frying it, burning it up. He might be able to shoot some sort of laser beams from his hands. I'm not sure yet. I know I didn't put that in there. But since he has no combat training, having any weapons would be useless. Ooh, that is interesting. I have never thought whether he could do that before. As of this point, he cannot. Maybe thanks to your asking the question. Maybe in the future it's something I might do with him, but I can't say for sure. At this point, I'll say no, but I can't say it's not within the realm of possibility. Is he immune to tasers? Yeah, because they would tase him and he would just simply, he'd feel the pricks of the stuff going into him, the sharp pieces, and that doesn't do too much to you. It's the voltage that is supposed to be doing something to you. He would just end up absorbing the energy into himself to use against them either through the laser beams from his eyes or the nuclear fireball or the flight energy. Um Possibly. Like I said, I know he's 50 times stronger. I'm not sure how much energy whether he can absorb more and more energy and get more and more stronger. I'm not sure whether his powers quite work like that. Like I said, I've developed him a lot more as you know, than others. Can he absorb sunlight? Sunlight. Yeah, because as I said, in his powers, he can absorb solar energy. What?
Nothing. Just wondering who you're talking to.
Bob and maybe a couple others.
Yeah, I'm
Je-
watching Spider-Man.
which one?
The one with Venom and.
Oh, the terrible one.
Batman. And of course, Green Goblin.
Yeah, I've seen it. The terrible one. Of all of them, it's the worst one. Right, guys? Spider-Man 3 is the worst. With Venom. Okay, can he absorb photons? Would he be completely black if he absorbed photons?
You don't know. You haven't decided yet.
Yeah. Can he absorb photons? Photon is light energy, so worse than that fake Venom, that uh, Venom, Sandman, and Green Goblin all in one. Can he, like a black hole? No, he's not going to be able to absorb light in that respect. Yeah, he can absorb solar energy, but he doesn't take the light out of the air. I'm not sure exactly how that would work exactly. Well, probably no different than a solar panel or Superman. Superman absorbs solar energy, but he doesn't. It doesn't affect the air around him. Why not? Just because? It's not how I think I want his. I guess it just comes down to it's not how I want his powers to work. It's not. He's not going to absorb light out of the air. Maybe he can absorb the. One, it's not something I really thought about too, and just thinking about it in the here and now. Superman is a battery. He's been said to be a solar battery because he absorbs the energy and takes it in, and he dispenses it through his various abilities. That is pretty much canon in the comics. Although he is only, it's yellow sun solar energy. So basically the radiation that comes from a yellow sun compared to a red sun. Okay. Can you see him at night if charged? I would say no. I don't think from. I'm not going to say he glows. Yeah, if he's firing off his light beams or from his eyes, his eye stuff, or if he's shooting up, the stuff from his feet to fly, yeah, you'd be able to see him that way. But I don't think he'd be glowing unless somehow I make it so he can. If he's going to be able to glow in any way, shape, or form, it's going to have to be some sort of concentrated maneuver, concentrated thing. if I go that route. Can he create flames? I would say no. At this point, it just seems to be a beams of some sort, either from his eyes, his feet, and I can possibly say his hands / fingers. Although it's not written there, I could accept that for sure. Oh, although maybe I won't. I don't know. It depends on whether I want to just give him, as you might say, not quite overpower him too much. I'm gonna put a link in the description of this. You know what? You can see that. So, I know you like anime too, so you'll probably like this. This one. Um, uh, sorry. Can he become an electric magnet? Maybe. I won't say yes to that, but I won't say no. Kalo T-shirt. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, there's a YouTube channel called Screw Attack. They have a bunch of videos. They do a lot of this character versus this character. They've even done a lot of anime characters versus other different anime characters or whatever. But they did a few years back, Superman versus Goku. And these guys go in depth into the characters' powers. They calculate a lot of stuff mathematically and scientifically. I'm not sure whether you've ever heard of the channel. I'm just trying to, you know what? Let's do playlists. Jet battle. Oh. Yeah, I know. Everybody's gonna call BS on everybody for everything for stuff like that. But anyway, like I said, they have one of Superman versus Goku. They have a lot that you might. There's probably a few that you might like. Because they do have a lot of anime characters on there. Yeah, let's see. Skip. What question? Oh, could he manipulate? I didn't see it. Sorry. I'm going to subscribe. Okay. Could he manipulate or control, use cars or mobiles at a distance? I'm not sure whether he can do that. Um, for right now, I'd say no. Um, just because the fact that he absorbs the energy, doesn't, he could manipulate it at best by maybe how, if he's, when he learns how to take it out in chunks and maybe not all at once if it's electrical. And sorry for skipping the question. I didn't mean to. But as you can see, I got to it now. And looking for yes, that's for sure. He can use energy, use his energy to fly. That I have done for sure in the power base. Yeah, but he wouldn't do. He ends up shooting purple beams out of his feet that propel him off the ground. Now, obviously, I don't believe those purple beams. They're only gonna blast along. You know, like if he goes 1,000 feet up into the air, you're not gonna see 1,000 foot purple beam. I'm not sure how far they will go. The purple beams behind him or under his feet. Can his heart stop beating? Could he use his energy to continue his life? Um, could he? I'd say, I think you mean to extend his life, and you can correct me if it's wrong. If his life stopped beating or heart stopped beating, I would say it's possible. I'm not sure whether I'll go there. I can't say for sure. It's not like a done. So in an Iron Man suit, he'd probably be dangerous. Um, even more dangerous actually. All I do know, when you first meet him, you know, obviously as time goes on, things are going to get more fleshed out with the character. I've got the basic premise of the character, and you are definitely giving me a lot to think about. For ways to use his powers. Um, but then again, he's got to be smart enough to think about these things too. Maybe if he hooks up with some villain who's a little bit smarter than him, who can get him thinking different ways to use his powers, possibly. Can he recreate that incident? What incident? His heart stopping beating, or the energy coming in? I'm not sure what you mean. Or can he? You mean recreate the incident? He can't go back in time and I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. I do believe he can sleep. No, the only way that he might be able to do that is create, and I don't think he is an energy sort of version, but since I don't think he's gonna have, well, he's creating light beams out of his eyes and all that. He's transferring it into a different form of energy, the energy he collects. So he may be able to make what, the same process to which he got his powers? I doubt that, because how he got his powers is just he was probably like one of the people most at this place where the path of energy fuel was leaking into the his way, and maybe with his interaction with chemicals that he does for janitorial, it all confounded to give him the power. Somehow the nuclear power plant that was leaking fuel, he somehow over time, like over a few months or a year or something like that, he was slowly absorbing it. So creating the same process, I would say no, he can't do that for, what was can he, and he might be able to create energy or a light projection, sort of like a Green Lantern, although it wouldn't be green, obviously, but he may or may not be able to do that. I just sent you a link, Bob, to the Goku versus Superman battle. Do you think 60 years ago or 80 years ago, when they created Superman, they could answer anything about kryptonite? No, because kryptonite hadn't even been invented yet for the character. And his powers have gotten defined and redefined over the years. Can he kill people by touching them or paralyze? I'm just trying to think. Can he? I don't think so. Because as I was showing it how we're saying about how his powers worked. He absorbs the energy. Well, probably. I don't know enough about One Punch Man to comment too much. Like I was saying, he absorbs it from what I've got here, which is basically most of what I can only go on. Is he takes the energy in, and he can, and I right now it's showing three ways that he can expel the energy. I'm possibly thinking of giving him a fourth way, And it's hard to, sometimes it's hard to answer questions you've never thought about. That's why when my comic really gets going, maybe I'm going to need you on my staff to help me ask me these stupid questions. Well, they're not so stupid. To make me think whether I wanted to go down that road or not for a character. So how can he use the energy? Well, in my skills and powers, things like I said, for sure he can, like I said, he can absorb many forms of energy, such as electrical, nuclear, solar, and obviously with using such as, he can absorb more forms of energy than that. This has made him 50 times stronger, so that's actually technically one way, than the average man, allowing him to shoot beams of light from his eyes, which can incinerate the toughest of metals, spit nuclear fireballs out of his mouth, there's the next two, and shoot beams of purple light out of his feet so he can fly. This is the established stuff. This is the stuff that I wrote down when I developed the character initially. Does he have potential? Potential energy. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. How would that work? Actually, you know what? Well, he was shorting the electrical stuff out, appliances out by walking by them. So he absorbs this at first, especially he absorbs this power unconsciously. Does he have potential energy of how far it can go up? Like how much he can store in? If that's what you mean, I'm not sure whether he has an upper limit to how much energy he can take in. It's when an object creates energy by falling. I think you're talking kinetic. I think that's what you're talking about, kinetic energy. I'm trying to think. It is a form of energy. I would have to know more how it works, kinetic energy. I think I know, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure, like, just doing that, is that kinetic energy? Just going like that. I don't think he'd absorb it, not in the way that he does the nuclear or electrical. If you could probably get him up to a sun, yeah, sure. I'm not sure he can absorb the energy from it. I'm not sure what would happen to him. Whether he would explode from energy overload. Because obviously he's absorbing some sort of sun power because he's absorbing solar energy. So putting him, like 5 feet from the sun, or 1,000 feet, he'd start to absorb more faster. Because some of it doesn't. I'm not sure whether I'd say it all gets. Well, all the sun's energy obviously doesn't get here. It goes out in various different directions. Could he become invisible? Um, could he become invisible? Bending the light around him, or using the energy in him to manipulate not being seen. Huh. I'd say maybe possible, but I'm not 100% sure. By emitting photons. Yeah, I'm not sure whether. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but like I said, at this point, I'd definitely consider the possibility, but it's not something I'm willing to say 100%, as me or whomever writes him explores them more and more defines how his powers work and all that, just like they do for all superheroes. It's not always defined on day one, and I know this isn't exactly day one, but there are different ways. I don't know. I think that's supposed to be there are different ways. I don't know. No, you don't know. Or you're answering a question to something I said or answered, which I forget was what I asked you, but you're answering a question, but I don't know. Um, um, like I said, I wouldn't take out the possibility of being able to maybe possibly reflect light or absorb it in enough of a fashion to Uh, from I don't know that. I have to see whether I wrote something about that. Give me a sec. Let me consult my script. I never thought that's something I don't think I thought about, that him being able to, that the suit allowing him to the energy it has, that it'll make uses how it go um well, like I said, if the kinetic energy is just, like moving like that. Yes, it is. Yeah. What do you think I said? Let me consult my script. Because when I wrote this script, I don't know how I wrote this script like 15 years ago. And I probably just looked at what I said. um, and like I said, he's just learning his powers too. So, and yeah, it is heat absorbent, probably un. And I wasn't quite as scientifically minded back then, so. Uh, I know that it's thinking of how the suit. Maybe. Yes, I am crazy. Uh, but he would also have to be close enough to Larson absorb to. You know what? If it's kinetic energy is just. Yeah, you are. If kinetic energy is just moving about like this, then I'm gonna say no. He won't absorb that because he would be making kinetic energy himself, thus absorbing it into himself and making himself unable to move. Then the Canadian shield couldn't touch him if he does. Yeah, but see that suit can take a lot of punishment. I know that. The suit protects from a heaven of a lot. I don't know what the upper limits of its protections are yet. I don't know fully how his suit works either. I've thought of ideas, I'll admit, but I haven't put them into my canon of. Uh, yeah, but that's if he. Do I even have him touching him? I have. Okay. I gotta read over the whole battle scene here, or a couple battle scenes. Okay. Just give me a minute or two. What have you done now? Sure. Serves him right. There's, uh, okay. Uh, don't. Should be related. Arson begins running over to the king. Shield up full speed. Well, there's one thing too, is if he's just absorbing the energy, that shield puts. I know the shield suit would probably put out a massive amount of energy, to allow him to do the things he does. No problem. Would put out a lot of energy, but to absorb it, he would have to stay in constant contact or be close proximity. I know just with the thing, he's within a few feet or like less than a few feet, a foot, two max, I'd say, of most of these electrical things that he's absorbing energy from. He's close enough to realize that it's him, so that they're shorting out just when he's around. It's not like he's, 10 feet away or something like that. So it would also depend. Well, he could punch him just as long as he didn't stay in sustained contact. It would drain a little bit of the power from the suit, thus possibly weakening the Canadian shield for a few moments for the suit to rebuild up the energy needed to get him back to full strength, for lack of a better way of saying it. And obviously, the longer. Yeah, but I was saying earlier, not that no kinetic energy. I was saying energy, no possible kinetic energy, because if kinetic energy is kinetic energy just waving your hands about? Are you creating kinetic energy that way? Because if you are, like I said, I'm not 100% sure how kinetic energy works offhand, or what would be considered kinetic energy. Because if that's true, then Absorb couldn't even move himself, because he'd absorb his own kinetic energy. Yeah, but see, he's in the suit. The suit protects the wearer. I didn't say any kind of energy. Where did it? I said such as electrical, nuclear, and solar. And I said, thus, it's not limited to those, but I didn't say all. Consider the Black Panther suit. Absorbs kinetic energy when being hit, yeah. Okay. It absorbs the kinetic energy of a punch, but it doesn't absorb every sort of kinetic energy. So I guess I could have it absorb the kinetic energy of punching, but then why doesn't he absorb all kinds of kinetic energy and only just one type? Yeah, but see, it's not absorbing the energy. Yeah, I get what you're saying, that he can move even if he absorbs impact energy. Yeah. Cutting Black Panther, I think you mean, would be inefficient. Well, Black Panther would be inefficient. You'd be cutting the circuitry within the suit that allows it. Thus, maybe you're disrupting something for him to absorb the kinetic energy of a punch, good or properly or whatever, or fully. But I don't think kinetic energy is when he's going to, because like I said, if I got kinetic energy right, and I'm not saying I do, it's the whole movement. If you're moving, no, kinetic energy isn't just moving, is it? It's more. Okay, because of the metal. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Um, hmm. He absorbs the energy. Okay, I get where you're going. Yeah, kinetic energy is the collision energy. He would absorb the energy, but doesn't mean he doesn't feel the physical impacts. No problem. It's like he may be able to absorb the energy, but he's still made of flesh. You can still you know, he can still bleed. He can still get bruised. So yeah, maybe he's absorbing the energy from the impact itself that's created, but it doesn't mean that while he's being hit. Okay. Black Panthers does not. Yeah, it reverberated the thing. 0 damage. But that's to metal too. You got to remember that shield was metal. So it's a lot. The metal would be a lot stronger than skin or human internal organs. Uh, and I'm sure if say Thor hit Black Panther with his hammer, if you absorb impact. I think you would, because it's hard to say. Because you not only have to absorb the energy, but depending on how it works within your system. Uh, not necessarily, because you absorb the energy from the impact. You're not necessarily immune to the effects of what the impact might cause. And just because you don't move, doesn't mean no damage. Especially if you're human. You absorb the energy of. Trying to think of a example in real life of something that can absorb kinetic energy. Not in yeah, possibly. How do I even do? I know. Then again, the shields. If you remember, like I said, I'm not completely sure. I know I've never said too much about the shield and his powers, and I know they're going to be tightened. Even with this, making me think he sort of not absorbs, but if something crashes into the Canadian Shield, he's not going to be moved either. So his suit, maybe in a sense, it doesn't absorb the kinetic energy to use it, but like Larson would, absorb would. But even bullets can, I think, have been known to penetrate stuff with um, kinetic energy. It's just that the force. I'm not sure. I guess I have to do a little bit more research. Yeah, he can't store the impact energy, but if some, if a bullet hits him, it's just gonna, because of the suit, it's not gonna do any damage. The suit prevents any damage from kinetic energy. Where there's the thing, absorbs the kinetic energy, but he's not immune to the damage of kinetic energy. Is to op? I'm not sure what. Absorb is to op? I'm not sure what you mean by to op. Absorb some. Isn't that giving him limitations by saying he can absorb it, but he can't? He can absorb the energy, but he can't. He's not immune to the impact, the damage of it. Hey, Chad. Oh, he's too overpowered. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm trying to depower him. You're trying to overpower him by saying, or I'm saying possibly he can't even take in kinetic energy. No, he can't see ghosts. There, that's an easy question. Okay, what army guys? Or do you mean army guys that get hit by have bulletproof armor? Yeah, they get hit, but they still feel it. The feeling, it's not quite as it stops a lot of the feeling, and obviously they don't get the damage of the bullet, but they do get sometimes cracked ribs and stuff like that, or bruised ribs. They still get a bit of pain there still. Well, it'd have to absorb probably all of it, I'd say, because the bullet doesn't penetrate. Yeah, I get that he can take it all. Yeah, this is funny. Sort of a sense. I'm just saying he's not immune to the damage from whatever's coming at him. I don't think something that absorbs kinetic energy doesn't, especially if it's flesh, would still be immune to the damages of. I get where you're coming from, but to me, and we'd probably have to ask some science guy to be sure. No, damage doesn't mean energy. Not to me, anyways. Yeah, but I didn't say he absorbs damage. He doesn't absorb the healing. He doesn't have a healing factor. Does absorbing kinetic energy protect from damage. Well, the closest we're getting to science, a scientist is YouTube stuff. Well, I went on Yahoo and I searched. I'm gonna put in my headphones so I know you, just so it doesn't mess anything up. No problem. You gave me some homework. Okay, you're skating. I got you're skating down hill and suddenly you hit a pothole, slam you, go head over heels, and now you, and oh, snowboarders, many of them wear foam-filled clothes to cushion these inevitable blows. Now, the foam's not a bad protective material, but it's hot and uncomfortable. And unless you can wear a huge amount of it, it doesn't absorb the energy of the impact as well as it might. What's an alternative? Be more careful next time. Is an alien way of thinking. What about using the latest high-tech energy absorber? yourself, but hit them too hard and they instantly turn. Yeah, well, that's not how. Oh, there's more to the article. There's a couple YouTube things here I'll watch. Video unavailable. Well, that figures. Video unavailable. Okay. Yes, it's reading something here on a something stack energy exchange. I'm not sure. Yes, it is known as a spring. There is no difference from energy absorbing buffers on a train or rubber bumpers on a truck. Cars are designed to absorb a lot of kinetic energy rather than more destructively by the front of the car crushing or collapsing. These are called crumple zones. It doesn't disable inertia, simply increases the time over which the car contacts the fixed object and so slows it more gradually so the impact becomes far less on an object's insides. Um, I don't think so, Chad. But I wouldn't say it's from far might not be possible. But at this point in me developing him, I don't think so. I don't see. Oh, that didn't really help. Here one, absorb kinetic. I'm gonna try YouTube. Uh, yeah, but that's most things. The kinetic, a punch would be, yeah, it might do heat from the kinetic, but at the same time, it would be a punch. Yeah, but they've already hit the source when they've been stopped. So the force of impact, he's not stopping. He's absorbing the kinetic energy, not the inertia. Uh, so, of you touch it. Just because you don't feel damage doesn't mean there isn't any. Imagine enough. Okay, imagine a cup. I think so, Chad. Okay, imagine. Okay, you don't imagine a cup not filled. A cup would not move until it's filled with energy. Only if you can't absorb it, you would move it. I'm watching a video about cars and kinetic energy. Physics of car crashes. I think it might come down to how fast he can absorb the energy. Yeah, I know cars are different, but they're but an object coming at him would be no different than a stop sign or something like that. There, or a tree. It gets energy, kinetic energy gets absorbed into it. Yeah, it doesn't move, but damage is done to it. Yeah, as I was about to say, I think it all comes down to how fast he can convert that kinetic energy into him upon the impact, or upon it being within I don't know, a foot of him. I'm not sure what the range of his absorption is. That's something I might have to come up with. And yeah, a car might be different, but the principles of kinetic energy would still be the same, depending on what it hits. And like a tree's anchored too. I wouldn't say God, because like you said earlier, a knife can take him down. Super Saiyan? Probably not, since he's not Dragon Ball Z character. And then it'd probably be the more energy, the more length of time the conversion is. I wouldn't. And then, he's still susceptible to common cold, diseases, all sorts of stuff like that. He's just absorbing energy and able to output it in certain ways. It might give him a little bit of invulnerability. A limited invulnerability, however you want to say it. What am I thinking of that? Oh, Arnold Stargate! I'll have to watch some Stargate. Yeah, well, I'm not going to make him invulnerable to diseases. disease. But you know how to beat the diseases? Write down that he's vulnerable to diseases for the another video. I can't talk any. Okay, no problem. Well, next week, for my video, for my character, I'm doing a character called Sunset. These videos on Monday nights, where I should be doing characters that I know a little bit more of. I know how I'm doing my ones for Monday night pretty much, so. Write what down? I think. Here, give me half a second. If you go to my website, crosscomics.ca, and you go to characters and go to villains. And you find one called Sunset. Should be closer to the bottom. They're pretty much alphabetically. Forget about that. I don't have her profile up there. I thought I did. Like you said, I don't want to make them too overpowered. I'll have to find Sunset's stuff for between now and next Monday. Write it up. Okay, what's the condition? Hey, I've got other characters that are immune to diseases. We can discuss those when we get to them. And that. A really inconvenient one. Actually, Chad, do you know when Venom's supposed to come out? I just see Venom now. No, I'm joking.
You serious? You want to open him?
No, Dave. Oh.
We'll talk about Venom. Venom was just on.
Yeah, that one sucks. They're in the next few days. Venom's coming out as a movie.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. Like Frozen.
You got any cherries?
Why would I have cherries in here?
Well, in the fridge.
Have you looked in the fridge and seen cherries?
Well, there's times I've looked in the fridge many times and said there was you found things that I never even found.
No, I didn't find them. I already knew they were there.
Okay, then the apples.
No fruit.
Sure.
October 5th. Okay, so that's next week, right? So, okay, yeah, I'll do Jameson this week. Next week's Venom. It would not move. Some do if want to die. Don't want something. Oh, okay. Take all the energy out of your atoms. Yeah, like I said, he's a lot more developed than most of the characters you're used to from me, Chad. But he is obviously not completely developed. Well, I can't say not completely developed, but there's obviously more to think about over time, for him as a character. I won't disagree with that in the least. I've got the first issue written with him in, and well, we'll go from there. He doesn't appear again, if I'm right, till after my first year and a half. So he makes one appearance in the first year and a half of my comics, and then I don't know when he appears next because, well, no, he's off sulking and making his costume and all that. If you don't want to die, take all the what he could. And then you die from that. I've just got to figure, I guess, all the types of energy and what energy stuff he would can absorb or not. Your temperature would be, yeah. Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight, Chad. 2 million. Wow. Okay, I subscribe to there for now. Okay, we'll talk to you later, Bob. Have a great time at school. Okay, so what have I been at this 3 hours now, I think? Wait for what? Like Bob. Wait for what, Bob? The name of the video is dun 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. What's the hottest hot and what's the coldest cold? Bum, 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 bum. That's the name of the video. Bob is giving us. Bum, 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 bum. So are we waiting anymore, Bob, or is the waiting over? Okay. Bye. Have a great day at school, my friend. Oh, who do we got here? We got a fourth viewer, wouldn't you know? But we're about to go bye-bye for now, eh? It was great having you all here, eh? Laddies and lassies. Please be liking the video, me lads and lassies. And if you are yet to subscribe, please be subscribing. And hit that notification bell. That way you know when I be doing stuff. That way you know when I be doing stuff. And why don't you be commenting on these videos here? And sharing them to all your friends. Hey, matey, laddie. And be sure to check out all the description, all the links in the description, eh, laddie? Or lassie, whichever you may be. So, I guess that's all we'll be doing from here on in. Till tomorrow at noon. Bye for now, lads and lassies. Have a great and wonderful day. God bless you all. I love you all too, man.